Ms. Altman, you're recognized.
Thank you. As you know, every January, Social Security benefits are automatically adjusted for inflation. Some refer to these adjustments as increases, but they're not. They're intended to allow those on fixed incomes to remain in place, to simply tread water. Without accurate and timely inflation adjustments, retirees, people with serious and permanent disabilities, and others will see their Social Security erode as they age. That's no small matter. Half of retirees have total incomes, that's incomes from all sources, of less than $17,000. Most of that comes from Social Security. 1 out of 3 seniors relies on Social Security for virtually all of their income. Nearly 1 out of 2 seniors age 80 or over does. And for women and people of color, the reliance is even greater. The intent of the adjustment is to allow beneficiaries to tread water, but they're not. They're sinking. The current inflation index under measures the inflation they experience. The index is designed for workers and the general public, but seniors and people with disabilities spend more on health care, where prices rise faster, and less on clothing, recreation, and other items where prices tend to rise slower. Chain weighting an index that already under measures their inflation simply will sink beneficiaries faster. By shielding some from the harshest impacts of the chain CPI, the Simpson-Bowles, Rivlin-Domenici, and administration proposals all implicitly concede that it is less accurate for this population. People don't need to be shielded from a more accurate adjustment. But these protections cannot solve what is a poorly targeted benefit cut. The chain CPI cuts the benefits of every single one of today's 57 million beneficiaries. But people already on fixed incomes have little or no ability to make up the loss. In addition, the cost grows with each succeeding year, like a snowball rolling down a hill, hitting hardest the oldest of the old, the poor, and the near poor. Members must confront many divisive issues, but Social Security is not one of them. Poll after poll reveals that Democrats, independents, Republicans, union households, Tea Partiers, the young, the old, and virtually every other demographic overwhelmingly agree about Social Security. They agree that Social Security should not be addressed as part of a deficit deal to reduce the deficit, and they're right. Cutting Social Security does not reduce by even a penny the federal government's total debt burden. Cutting it does not buy the government a single extra day of borrowing authority. Let me repeat, because many people find this surprising. Cutting Social Security does not reduce at all the federal government's debt subject to the debt limit. Including Social Security in a deficit package gives the appearance that policymakers are raiding Social Security's contributions and diverting them to unauthorized purposes. You can easily avoid this improper appearance by addressing Social Security as it should be addressed, on its own and in the sunshine. That was how it was done in 1977 and 1983, when Social Security's projected shortfall was much more immediate. In 1983, it was 6 months versus 20 years today, and much larger, over 8% of taxable payroll in 1977 versus less than 3% today. Social Security is too complicated and too important to address any other way. But to do that, policymakers have to be prepared to follow the will of the people. This body must open the door to more than just a narrow group of budget experts. An open process focused solely on Social Security will not lead to the chained CPI. Instead, it will lead, I am confident, to a stronger foundation of economic security for America's workers and their families. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.